Hello everyone and welcome to Mountain Lake Journal. I'm Tom Hellick. 40 years ago this weekend, the eyes of the world were on Lake Placid, New York. The 1980 Winter Olympics are remembered today for the miracle on ice when the U.S. hockey team pulled off the stunning win over the Soviets right here at this rink in what is now considered to be one of the greatest moments in American sports history. The Winter Games and the miracle came at a time in our nation's history when America needed something to cheer. And cheer they did on that night 40 years ago.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the 1980 United States figure skating team.
And this week, a dozen members of the U.S. figure skating team had a banner raised in their honor to the rafters of the Olympic Center as they returned to Lake Placid to celebrate their place in Olympic history. We get more from Jack LaDuke.
There was one day in particular this week when hundreds of Winter Olympic devotees went to the Olympic complex with their eyes fixed on 1980 Olympians. With the audience in their comfortable chairs and the dream team on stage, athletes relived their Olympic days. Some saying they even pinched themselves to make sure it was not a dream.
You know, am I really here? Am I really here? And that was my whole 2 weeks. I just was like, am I really here? Did I make the team? You know, like, I'm here. And it was just, I was on cloud nine. It was the most surreal experience. And it was a dream come true.
Some started skating very young.
And when I started skating, I didn't even know about the Olympics. I started skating with Frank Carroll when I was 9 years old. And he had never taken on someone so young. He always, you had to audition for Frank. And I remember skating around in a rink in Van Nuys, Iceland, and I remember my dad coming around on the side, and he said, well, is she good enough for you? And he said, okay, I'll take her on.
Fratiani said that at the Lake Placid opening ceremonies, she looked around and said that she was so proud to represent her country. Bronze medalist winner Charlie Tickton spoke of his doubts at becoming a world-class skater. He was ready to give it all up.
My dad stepped up and said, don't quit. That wasn't you competing. That's not really you. Get out there and show them what you can do and see what happens. And so for the next 4 years, I worked really hard.
I've never in my life seen an entire panel of judges give a standing ovation to its next year's national champion.
Many years after Sandy Lentz Jackson competed in Lake Placid, she was called on to hit the ice again. Decades later, she was at the World's Figures Competition.
I hadn't done figures in 35 years, and I get the call from Karen Cortland, and she asked if I would participate, and the journey of getting back into shape to even be able to do those figures was amazing. Just the strength and the balance and the accuracy, because I teach every day. I'm on the ice 6 days a week teaching skating and demonstrating a lot. But the school figures training, I was doing like 3 and 4 hours a day just to get ready to come back and do this competition.
Scott Hamilton had been coming to Lake Placid to train here for many years before competing in the Olympics. He is a familiar figure around the town of about 3,700 residents. After hosting 2 Olympics, one in 1932 and another in 1980, will they ever be able to host another one, or have they gotten too big and too expensive? Well, Olympic medalist Scott Hamilton had some ideas on that.
They did it in 80, but I think it's their fault that the Olympics got so big because of what happened here. Just the history that was made, the enormity of the stories and just outrageous victories and the performances and everything that happened here. People go, I want more of that.
With the escalating cost of hosting an Olympics, some countries are shying away from bidding on them. Just too expensive, they cry.
You know, you look at Sochi and they said, $60 billion, are you kidding me? That's insane, who can do that? No, Putin used that as a public works project. It was really to build infrastructure because he loved that region because he grew up there. So it's about an excuse to take a region and elevate it and allow it to be what it needs to be.
Hamilton has become a leader in the fight against cancer. It's an honor to his mother.
On the day that I lost her, I became a fundraiser. I thought if I could raise money through skating or whatever to find a cure for her cancer, then I would know why I was born. And then 20 years after I lost her, I was diagnosed with cancer. And it was there that I realized everything that was missing in the cancer community and how fractured it was and how dysfunctional it was. And so I sort of went from fundraiser to activist.
Hamilton's work is to advance cancer research. It affiliates with communities like Adirondack Medical Center in Saranac Lake.
And I'm really astounded to announce that what we were hoping would be a $10,000 raise just went over $60,000.
This is all about Scott Hamilton's scape for cancer research, but in addition to that, it's connecting with the hospital in Saranac Lake, and we're raising money. A percentage of what we've raised so far, $60,000, is probably like $20,000. That's going to go to the local oncology unit for helping people defer their expenses for traveling to either continued treatment or to second opinions.
As part of the 40th anniversary of the 1980 Winter Olympics, a skating fundraiser to fight cancer was held on the Olympic skating oval. That's where Eric Hayden won an unheard of 5 Olympic speed skating gold medals. Despite cold weather, nearly 400 people showed up to register for this gratifying event. That's what the Olympic spirit is all about. For Mountain Lake Journal, I'm Jack LaDuke in Lake Placid.